I accidentally found a box in my brother's room, and now I don't know if I should have opened it. I, 24, live with my younger brother, 20. Our parents moved abroad 2 years ago and the apartment stayed with us. We've always gotten along pretty well. Nothing special. Typical brother and sister stuff. We tease each other, sometimes argue about small household things, but overall it's fine. My brother, let's call him Jake, is a bit weird, but in a good way. He's an introvert, spends a lot of time in his room, plays games, sometimes works on little coding projects. I work remotely, so most of the time we're just quietly existing in the same apartment. A couple of days ago, something small happened that started all of this. A pipe under the kitchen sink started leaking. Nothing catastrophic, but water was slowly spreading across the floor. I started wiping it up and realized we were out of cleaning rags. Usually, we keep them in the storage closet, but there weren't any there either. Then I remembered that Jake sometimes uses old t-shirts as rags. He wasn't home. He texted me earlier saying he'd be staying late at the university. I knocked on his door, habit, and went inside. The room looked mostly the same as always, a bit dark, curtains half closed, a monitor on the desk, and way too many empty coffee cups. Nothing unusual. I opened his closet looking for something old. That's when I noticed the box. It was sitting on the top shelf. Just a regular cardboard box, but written on it with a marker were the words, "Do not touch." I know that sounds like a cliché, but that's exactly what made me notice it. At first I kind of laughed and thought, okay, probably just his personal stuff. I was about to close the closet, but then I noticed the box wasn't fully closed. The lid was slightly open. And I swear I wasn't planning to snoop. I just lifted the lid to make sure there wasn't anything fragile inside. Inside were notebooks. A lot of notebooks. Old school ones. Different colors. I picked one up. On the front it said, "Observations." I opened it. The first few pages were strange. They were notes about our building. Stuff like 7:40. Neighbor upstairs walking around again. 8:12. Car with white doors parked near the entrance. I thought maybe it was some weird project or joke. But then I flipped a few pages further, and there were notes about me. For example, 13:05. Sister made tea and forgot it on the table. 13:40. Watching a show with headphones and laughing. 14:10. Checked the fridge again, even though nothing new was there. I honestly felt this weird chill. I kept flipping. There were entries from different days. A lot of days. And they were really detailed, like, she always checks her phone before going to sleep, or when she's nervous, she starts walking in circles around the apartment. I started thinking maybe it was some kind of psychology experiment or something. Right then I heard the apartment door open. I quickly closed the box. A few seconds later, my brother looked into the room. He stopped in the doorway. "Are you looking for something?" I felt incredibly awkward. A rag. The pipe in the kitchen is leaking." He nodded, but his eyes moved to the closet. Then he quietly asked, "Did you open the box?" I didn't even try to lie. "A little." He was silent for a few seconds. Then he walked in, took the box and placed it on the desk. "You probably think this is weird." "A little," I admitted. He rubbed his face with his hands and said, "I just write things down." "About people?" "About everything." I pointed at the notebook. "There are a lot of notes about me." He shrugged. "You're around the most." I didn't know how to react, so I asked, "How long have you been doing this?" He answered, "About 3 years." 3 years. I nervously laughed. "Why?" And this was the strangest part. He looked at me completely seriously and said, "So I don't forget how people behave." I thought he was joking. "Jake, you're a person." He was quiet for a moment. Then he said something that honestly still bothers me. "I know. but sometimes I feel like I'm learning it from the outside. After that, the conversation kind of died. He put the notebooks back in the box and returned it to the closet. I went back to the kitchen and finished dealing with the leak. We haven't talked about it since. Everything feels normal, but also not normal. Now I keep wondering how many things about me he has written down that I don't know about. And the worst part is that I don't even know if I should be worried or if this is just one of those harmless, weird habits people have. So, was I wrong for opening the box? And should I be concerned about what I found?